Good morning. We're back on trail at Stecoah Gap, getting ready for the climb out of here. I had a wonderful stay at Cabins in the Woods. They got a really small setup, so you got to get lucky to get a room there, I guess. But it was very nice. Got a nice dinner at the one little diner in town there. And well, let's see what's on the menu for today. Fontana Dam eventually. It's like 14 something miles to where the marina is at. And then I need to see if I can get a ride to Fontana Village to their general store so I can do a resupply there. And then back to the marina, and then it's another like mile to get to the Fontana Hilton shelter. And that's where I'll be staying tonight, I think. Something like that. So, we'll push in some miles for today. It's the biggest slug I've ever seen. So something I wanted to mention but forgot about, a couple of days ago when it was the day right before it started raining, came across this 7th generation Appalachian mountain man. Was out with his grandson. Grandson was probably 10 years old or so. But they were out looking for a plant called ramp, which is a type of wild sweet onion. And so he was showing his grandson how to identify it and harvest it just out in the wild. And then, you know, I come across this guy, and he's teaching us kind of a crash course on the identification. And, you know, the leaves, you could use in a salad and stuff, and it just tasted amazing. It's just super sweet. Like, I've never tasted a plant leaf that was as sweet as this was. But that was kind of cool, running into him, seeing the old Appalachian ways being passed, you know, to the next generation and that kind of thing. It's just kind of a neat thing to see. This part is steep. I know you can't really capture it on film, but feels like more than a 45-degree angle. I kind of like these big informational signs. Let's see, Brown Fork Gap Shelter is just down that trail, and Cable Gap is 6.1 miles away. I think I'm going to take a break at Cable Gap, and then we'll re-look at how much further we have to go. It's a nice little lake down there in the distance. Just right at the top of whatever little mountain this is. Even though they're difficult to walk on, I kind of like these intermittent jumbly bits of rocks. It just makes it more exciting, more fun, more of a challenge. This is kind of a neat little spot where you can imagine this huge rock slide happened some, I don't know, it could have been hundreds of years or thousands of years ago or whenever, you know, just took out this whole area. Made this mess of rocks. Just cool to kind of think about that kind of stuff. And I think I've read, speaking of like old rocks, I might be totally off base here, but I think the Appalachian mountain range is one of the oldest rocky ranges on planet Earth, as in like once the Earth was first formed like 2 billion years ago. But either way, these are really, really, really old rocks. Man, it is such a beautiful day out here. I just love it. It's not too hot. It feels like it's only in the 50s or so temperature-wise. It's just nice and cool. It's not windy. It's not super hot. The terrain is really easy. You can just cruise nice and quick. My legs are feeling good. My heel pain is definitely reducing, I've noticed. Like right now I've got no pain and I'm like, I don't know how many miles in for the day, almost 8 or so. See how it goes by the time I get all the way to Fontana. But I think my trail legs might be slowly getting there. That's the one thing that's holding me back from really speeding up and starting to push bigger miles. Alright, I'm in and out of Cable Gap shelter already. Stopped into there for about 30 minutes, had some lunch. Was able to dry out and clean out my tent a little bit better. Haven't really had the opportunity since the rain. And right now we're about 5 miles to Fontana Dam. I'll see if I can coordinate there's a shuttle service. $3 one way, apparently. He can get you into pick up the road towards the marina where the trail comes in and takes you into Fontana Village where I can do a resupply at the general store. So timing's still good. I should be able to get there before they close or anything. I just gotta get there these last 5 miles. I'm on a little hilltop right here and I can see a lake down there and what appears to possibly be a dam structure. We still got 4 trail miles to get there, but just looking right out there, that looks pretty close. There's maybe a better view of the dam down there with the lake right behind it. The long downhill to Fontana Dam, when all you want to do is get there before the general store closes. Getting a little bit better views of the dam from here and the lake, which means everything on the other side of that is all the Smoky Mountains. I think I made it. Let's see if we can figure out what this shuttle service thing is, if I can get a ride to the general store. I got some information about the shuttle service. Yeah, there's like some house phones. You just pick it up and dial 0 and they can come get you. I'm gonna go check out the little shop at the marina first, though. See what kind of stuff they got over here. So there's some good AT hiker information here, and there's a phone just in this box. It's got the hours of some of the shops and stuff, so just dial 0, and I was able to get a shuttle to come pick me up. They're currently on the way, still down at the marina. And I've got about an hour until the shuttle service stops, so that should be enough time to get down the general store, get some shopping done, and then come back to here, hike to Fontana Hilton. Alright, mission success so far. I got my resupply complete. Got to drive into the Fontana Village, to the general store. Got dinner for tonight, and I've got a 2.5-day resupply, which will get me to Newfound Gap. And I'm going to try to get off trail there and get into Gatlinburg. All of that cost like over $50, so you're paying mountain resort prices for whatever you get here. And now I'm back in the woods for just a little bit. I've got a mile hiking to finish up before I get to the Fontana Hilton shelter. That'll be where I'm staying tonight. Should be a couple of familiar faces there when I get there. Should be getting close to the shelter, but this has been a nice little lakeside walk. It's just right down there. And here we go, Fontana Hilton. A little bit of a crowd here. Well, here I'm tucked away in the Fontana Hilton itself. And I think I'm gonna sign off here for the night as the sun's going down. And then we got a little fire going. Most people are hanging out over there. I'm gonna go sit there and join them for a little bit, but I'll sign off here for the night. And tomorrow we enter the Smokies for the first day. So that'll be awesome. It's gonna be 2.5 days, and then I'll get off at Stecoah Gap and then get into Gatlinburg for my next resupply. But yeah, there's a ton of people here. There's like 25 some odd hikers, it seems like. So it's a good little group. Some people I haven't seen in a while. But good night for now. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I just wanted to take a quick second to talk about the Smoky Mountains permit. Being a national park, permits are required, and they do have a lot more restrictive rules and regulations and such. I'm just using the candy bars to cover up my personal information, but this is what the permit looks like. One thing to note on here is the expiration date of the permit. I went ahead and bought this before I even left to go to start the AT, and they ask you to put an estimated entry date, so I just put something in there. I figured a couple weeks ahead. It's already past the 3rd, so whatever, that doesn't really matter. But when you get the permit, it's good for 38 days. So they figure 38 days to start the trail and then 8 days to actually go through the Smokies to get to the other side, so 38 days. So I'm still good as of today till the 23rd, and I think today is like the 7th, so I've got plenty of time still. On the back of the permit, there's a bunch of rules and regulations. It says like I know how to no graffiti on stuff. I know how to use the bear cables. One of the key things is this paragraph right here talks about you're normally only required to stay within the shelter itself, no setting up tents. However, due to COVID this year, they say that you are allowed to set up a tent and stay outside the shelters. Also, like wearing masks, if you can't social distance and all that good stuff's required. So once we get to the start of the actual national park, we'll rip off a part of the permit. Half will be carried with us, and the other half will be deposited into the little entry box. There's the lovely views of Lake Fontana. And there's into the Smoky Mountains. The Fontana Dam. And it is cold this morning. Just got to get back into the woods, get some tree cover. Hydroelectric down there, I guess. Would make sense. And this is where the AT goes, back in the woods. Molly's Ridge Shelter is 9.9. We're going to the next shelter past that. So we're going to be like somewhere around 15 miles for the day. And somewhere up shortly should be the the little permit box. Oh, I think I see it just up ahead. So I'm gonna rip my permit in half. Keep one half with me and put half of it into here. AT Thru hikers permits. This is the split off for the Shuck Stack Fire Tower. I can see it way up there a little bit of a walk. Let's go check it out. Well, I made it about halfway up Shuck Stack Fire Tower. I'm still afraid of heights, and my knees are definitely shaky at this point. It's a little more of a flimsy structure. But the view is pretty cool. This part of the trail almost gives off kind of a spooky vibe, just because there's like these old trees that have all just rotten and fallen apart everywhere. So there's like just dead tree remains scattered all over the place. I just ran into a National Park Service ridge runner. We were just chatting a little bit, and I was asking him about any bear activity or anything I should be aware of, and he was like, no, just maintain the standard practices of hanging your bear bags and keeping all the smells and stuff out of your tents and out of the shelters. But he was like, yeah, the bears are out here. It's just there hasn't been any nuisance problems lately, so that's a good sign. The Molly's Ridge shelter, one of the nicer ones I've seen. It's a little indoor fire pit and everything. I'm gonna rest up here for a little bit and then get some water and we'll push on. It's only another 3 miles to the next one. Yeah, I made it to the Russell Field shelter. It looks like the exact same setup as the last one I just passed by. And so far I'm going to be the only one staying in the shelter. We'll see if any of the other guys I was with this morning are going to make it this far. Most of them were probably going to stay at the other one I passed though. But this is a nice little spot. It's got bear cables and everything, and I just learned that this intersects with some horse trails, so that's why they've got the horse hitching post that looks like over there, so that's kind of cool. Normally the AT is just a foot traffic only type of place. But I think I'm gonna get some warmer stuff on. It's still really chilly out, and then we'll get dinner going shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodnight for tonight. I'm all bundled up. Currently the only one in the shelter. Everybody else is gonna be sleeping out in a tent around. And it's cold for tonight. It feels like it could be down to freezing or even colder. We'll see though. I'm definitely sleeping with my filter and getting up early, doing like another 14 plus mile day. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the morning.